Welcome to another episode of Sideline Stories. Tricia Whitaker, Sydney Parrish. Sydney, we are so excited for this episode. Why are we excited for this episode?
Well, I was saying earlier my AD, but now that I'm a retired athlete, my old AD will be on the show today, Scott Dolson. He's been an amazing athletic director for the university for the last couple of years, and I got to experience 3 of them, which he had been amazing. Came to practices, supported us at all levels. So we're really excited to talk to him today.
Turned around the IU football program.
Yes.
I mean, it was unbelievable how many stories that we got to hear from Scott and what he was able to share with us. It was just informative but entertaining.
My favorite's when he makes the comparison with Coach Knight and Coach Cignetti.
Oh, so good. This is a great tease ahead and why you should keep listening to this podcast because he made that comparison. He ranked Curt Cignetti's top 5 quotes because we know that he is just a soundbite machine. He told us some great stories about how nervous he was for the Bison mascot reveal. I mean, it was just phenomenal stuff.
No, it's great. But before going into Scott Dolson's interview, I want to ask you a little bit about what you've been up to. You went viral for a pocket pancake. Talk to me about this pancake and you taking a bite out of it.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever gone viral for. I've only gone viral a few times, but this is the weirdest thing. If you would have told me I would go viral for eating a pancake out of a man's pocket, that was just the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Did you think
that
it would go, when you did it, did you expect it?
I knew it would probably gain some traction, but I didn't think it would go as viral as it did. So basically the backstory to this is I was doing Apple TV Friday Night Baseball, and I interviewed the Brewers manager, Pat Murphy, in the middle of the game. Well, before the game, a lot of people want to know the backstory to this, and I don't know that I've told it. Before the game, I was just talking there. I was sitting there talking to him, and he was like, I like to eat during the game. And I'm like, what, like sunflower seeds? He's like, pancakes. And I'm like, during a baseball game, you eat pancakes? He's like, I just stick in my pocket. I'm like,
pulls one out.
What in the world? So then we had some help from Brewers PR. We went back. We asked the clubhouse manager if he could make some pancakes. He made some pancakes. Pat Murphy goes back. I didn't know if he did or not. He went back, put them in his pocket. So then I'm interviewing during the game, and I'm just like, I'm just going to ask him this question, the second question. I go, I hear you like to have a snack during the game. He pulls a pancake out of his pocket, and he's like, yeah, I do. You want a bite? And I took a bite of it, for the camera.
Of course.
Yeah. But, I also am not a germaphobe, so it kind of works. And then it just exploded. But here's what really made it stick is that the Brewers went on an insane winning streak after that. I can't remember what it stopped at. It was 14 or something. Mm-hmm. And everybody was tweeting us the power of the pancake. And then all these headlines came out and it was just the Brewers are 12-0 since the manager ate a pancake the manager fed a pancake to the Apple TV sideline reporter out of his pocket.
No, I was at the bar Kilroy's in Chicago, and I look up. Actually, I don't look up. Somebody that I was with, he was like, that's your podcast co-host, isn't it? I go, what? I thought you at the bar. Right. And I look up and it's you eating a pancake on TV.
As you would expect to see.
Never. Never, ever, ever.
It was a fun adventure, and it definitely, Sydney, I gained, I think, about 4,000, 5,000 followers from just that.
I'm about to start eating pancakes on national television.
Well, the thing is, it was done with, the intention of just, having fun and whatever, and then all of a sudden it's just whoa.
So is that one of your favorite interviews you've done then?
100% one of my favorite interviews I've ever done.
Oh, that's a good story.
Yeah. What have you been up to in Chicago? Sitting at Kilroy's watching me eat pancakes?
Pretty much. No, just trying to adventure, find different places, different restaurants, different coffee shops, taking my dog on walks. That will probably come to a halt pretty soon since she got sick from going on walks. But
because she ate what?
Geese poop.
It's not
geese.
funny. She's sick. She's going to be okay.
She's going to be okay. She's on medication now. But no, it's been super fun to explore the city a little bit. Oh, I told Coach Morin this today. I'm
Indiana women's basketball coach, Terry Morin.
Yes, Terry Morin. She was asking what I do and during my free time. I'm actually missing right now my first kickball game.
Oh, what a travesty.
So I'm pretty upset about that. But then we're going to start flag football as well.
Okay. So you're playing flag football, you're playing kickball, you're doing this podcast with me, and your dog's eating goose poop.
On to Scott Dolson, the athletic director of Indiana University. Thank you to our sponsors today, TIY Hair Ties. My favorite hair ties from when I played on the court. They kept my ponytail up all game long, didn't budge, and the hair ties do not break because of the flexibility. You can tie them yourself. Pick the strength that you want for your hair tie. All of your favorite athletes are wearing them on the court, on the field, and basically anywhere you can think of. And Tricia and I have them in today.
We do.
I picked
I'm not
the red,
an athlete, but I enjoy them.
I picked the red color for today. They have many different styles. Go to DIYproducts.com and use the code Sideline for 10% off your order.
All right, we are thrilled to welcome in our guest for this week, the Director of Athletics at Indiana University, Scott Dolson. Scott, thanks for joining Sideline Stories.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Well, it's an honor to have you here. And this, I first want to do a wellness check, Scott, because it is the first week. It was the first week of college football. That is a huge week for the university. How was your week leading up to it? How much did you sleep? How much did you not sleep? Because there's so much going on.
Actually, it really was awesome. It went great. But there was some sleepless nights for sure. You know, just thinking about the game, it felt like we hadn't played football in 5 years to me. It really did. It felt like we were just waiting. So obviously that was the big thing, is wanting the team to get off to a good start and just the actual game, but all the work that goes around putting a game on. And then when you add on top of that, the unveiling of Hoosiers the Bison was something we'd worked on for a long time. And knowing he was going to jump out of the airplane, that added a little extra kind of feeling this week. But it worked out great. But I was stressed about it a little bit, to be honest.
Whose idea was it for the Bison to jump out of an airplane?
That idea was Stephen Harper, our deputy AD.
Wow.
I just learned that because I wasn't in the meeting when they talked about that, but he said he was the one who kind of brought that up. Harper. Yeah, he brought that up. And, you know, it's been a great team effort in our department. Jeremy Gray in his area have been so instrumental in all the marketing of that and putting it together. And then we just had a lot of creativity, and it really created a lot of fun in the department. There was a lot of stress at times, and we had so much fun with talking about it.
Oh, but how nervous? I mean, be honest, how nervous were you? Because, I mean, you're having a guy jump out of a plane into the stadium in a Bison costume. You're hoping he can stick the landing. It's the unveiling of a mascot, and it's got to add some nerves.
Yeah, it did. But honestly, totally full disclosure, he practiced, so I knew he could do it. So I saw a video when he
Practicing
landed.
in the stadium?
He didn't practice landing in the stadium. Whew. He practiced jumping out with the suit on. So, and he's a professional. So I was really, I was pumped. It wasn't the student. It wasn't one of the students. But to be honest with you, I was standing behind the goalpost at the north end, and Mark Skirvin, who he had worked tirelessly to time everything up. I was standing next to him, and when he looked at me and said, "They just jumped. They're in the air," and when that happened, the nerves kicked in, because when they were in the air, I thought, hey, this is real. And I was looking up.
Looking for a
and I was
flying out of the air.
You can't go back. When they were in the air, it kind of hit me a little bit. I thought, man, I hope that this goes well. That's the first time I got kind of tight. But then when I saw him and I saw the crowd kind of realizing the momentum was building up, and then he was coming in kind of hot.
He was.
He landed pretty
hard.
But then when he landed, it was awesome. It was really good.
So, okay, we could literally do an entire podcast just on the Bison, which perhaps this was a miss on our part to talk about other things. But I have one more question for you that I think a lot of people want to know the answer to. When in the world did this idea come about to bring back the Bison? It was a social media movement first. We did see it started by someone we know. But how did that idea? I mean, did somebody just come into your office and say, "Hey, Scott, we're going to bring back the Bison"?
It's a really good question, and I'll try to give you the shortest answer because it's complicated. I give Fred Glass a lot of credit. So Fred, obviously my predecessor, he really pushed for the Bison hard during his tenure, and we just couldn't get over the hump. And so the idea has been out there, and then I kind of, because we've been through some startups and stops, I really wasn't that fired up about it until about maybe 2 years ago. When I learned the story, I didn't really know that the student body had voted the Bison as our official mascot, in 1965. And then it went away, and, we started to think about it. And I remember talking to my kids, actually, like at Christmas a year and a half ago, And I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if he was in a box and it was like he woke up?
No,
You
came
up with that?
Well, yeah, that was kind of we were joking. We were saying, yeah, it'd be like he never left. And so what I started thinking is I always thought if you try to create a mascot, how do you really sell it? So then it's like, okay, he never left. He was in this box. And then we could do these funny videos. And I talked to Jeremy Gray, who's, so creative. Yeah. And he can imitate, he's so funny. Jeremy Gray's hilarious. So
next podcast, guys.
Yeah, Jeremy. So I said to Jeremy, what if we did these little vignettes of he was in the box and somebody cracked it open and he broke out and then running through campus and somebody saw him.
Somebody was in the Bison.
Somebody was in the.
When we were filming that, I couldn't keep myself together. I was laughing so hard at Jeremy. He would come up and say something new every time, every take, and you can see in the background of the video, I'm dying laughing. It was amazing.
Well, and we would, like with my kids, and they all went to IU, but they're grown now. Yeah. But we would sit and talk, and we would start laughing so hard because I'd say stuff like, "What if all of a sudden the Bison would just walk across campus?" Like nobody know where'd that come from, and somebody would see it. So that's when that whole thing. So we started to do that, and then we just got the creative juices flowing. And I wanted to do something about Rocky. I love Rocky, so there's a vignette coming out about that is like, Jeremy, thank goodness I wore them out, so they did it. They did it. Yeah, this Rocky video is going to be epic. So, but it's been a lot of fun, and there's, like, as I said earlier, there's so much stress in college athletics. Sometimes we think about it as a business, and then we try to make certain it's IU, it's students, it's fun. And so it's been really good.
100%. All right. Well, as much as we could talk about the Bison the rest of the podcast, literally, we could. I want to talk about what happened on the field. We know expectations arguably unreasonably high because it's difficult to repeat what they did last year, 11-2 last year. Curt Cignetti came in, changed the program. And I loved what Curt said after the game. He said, everybody in this organization knows we could have played better despite the fact that we won, and we're happy we won. First of all, what did you see, on the field that you liked from the group? And second of all, how refreshing is it to hear an attitude like that?
Yeah, I love it. It's what you want. It really is. And for me, and this is why from the minute I met Coach Sig, it just, he had me at hello, kind of one of those things. But But the thing is, everything is really process oriented, and I'm big in the same type of leadership, just really process. And so, I have so much confidence in him, and I want us to be perfect, and I want every game to be perfect, but I know it's not going to happen. Right. And maybe just growing up under Coach Knight as well, even though I was just a manager, I didn't play, but just watching it, just seeing how the process of building a successful program and just seeing how you kind of adapt. And if you look at the game on Saturday, there's obviously some really good things and some things we need to correct, and that's just all part of the process. So the bottom line is as he said in the locker room after the game, one of the first things he said to the team, he said, hey, wins are hard, wins are tough, and so I'm never going to apologize for a win. But as he said in the press conference, we can do better, and they're certainly working at it. So I thought it was, the crowd was amazing. I thank our fans every time I get, because our fans have been over the moon. They're just off the charts in terms of their support. And so, yeah, I'm pumped, and I can't wait for this Saturday to see what we improve on.
Wow.
That's awesome. You said you looked up to Coach Knight and his attitude going into a game. You started as a manager on the men's basketball team, and now you are our athletic. I say our like I'm still a student athlete. Athletic director. Right. Our athletic director. What does that mean to you, starting as just a manager on the men's staff, now leading and hiring and being someone that everyone really looks up to?
It's so funny that honestly, if I take a step back and think about it, sometimes I can't believe it, I guess, because when I think of this 18-year-old Scott as a freshman manager, and you just said to him, hey, you're going to be athletic director someday.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the student managers right now that we're with. I'm like, imagine if some of them
and if you would have asked the other managers at the time or asked the players, they probably would have picked me. They're not going to pick me, and they shouldn't have. But the reality is that the way my mind kind of works is I think so much about what we have to do. I think so much about the challenges we have, and I want to do a really good job for the university I love. So I don't really think a lot about thinking back or what it really means more. I just think about, I just want us to do really well. I mean, it keeps me up at night. You know, I don't obsess beyond it. It's still a job.
Yep.
And, you know, it's not as big as other things in life for your family and et cetera. But it is, I want us to do well. I want our student athletes to be successful in every way. So I am kind of passionate about that.
So the former basketball manager made one of the most historic hires in IU athletics history, and that is Curt Cignetti. Now, what I would like to know is when you interviewed Cignetti, did you know that he was the type of character that he is and so outspoken and just like what we call a soundbite machine?
No, not really. But I did realize in the first phone conversation, which was probably 45 minutes, I just liked how he was just so authentic. I mean, he literally at the end of the conversation, I'll never forget it. And I thought about Coach Knight a little bit because I'd heard that people asked Coach Knight when he took the Indiana job, and they'd say, why did you go to Indiana? And he said, because I could win there. And so I was talking to Coach Sig. And,
Wow,
that's what he said. So I'm on the phone with Coach Sig, and at the very end, we hit it off. We talked about a lot of stuff, and he's just the way he is, right? And at the end, I said, you know, I've really enjoyed our conversation. I'd like to talk to you more, but I said, do you think you could win here? And he said, Scott, let me just tell you this. If I have average resources, I will win there. Trust me. And like, I remember like thinking, I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, I really did. And I
You
remember
need that
hanging up.
attitude also as a
And
head coach.
I called President Whitten and I said, hey, I just finished up with Coach Cignetti. And I said, hey, I think he's different. I really liked him a lot. I mean, I knew he checked all the boxes in terms of our pro forma we were looking for in a coach, but then just talking to him, he's different. And I like it. He's so authentic. And, you know, he's got a plan, and it's a lot like when you see whether it's Terry Moran or Ray Lewis or Jerry Yeagley and Todd Yeagley, and you look at all of we've had amazing, and I'm leaving a ton out because we got them all right now.
Yeah.
But when you have a plan and a blueprint and you work that and you know how to recruit to it, you know, that's how you sustain a program, not just a team.
Okay. 100%.
Those head coaches that you all named were some of the most successful coaches in their sport. Now flipping the page from football to men's basketball, which everyone is so excited for men's basketball season to start, specifically because of Coach DeVries. What did you see in him, and what do you expect from him this season?
Yeah, it was very similar, honestly, to the Coach Sig hire in that, you know, we knew what we were looking for, and you know, we had our blueprint of what we felt would be someone to be successful here based on a lot of the same qualities that we've looked at in our other coaches. And then talking to Darren, the first thing that jumped out with him, and it's very similar, you know, kind of introductory phone call. And I felt like I knew him for 20 years. I mean, it's one of those things when you talk to someone right away, it was like, and he was very authentic. And I'm really big into I didn't feel like he was trying to sell me on anything. He was just being himself and talked about philosophies and really hung up from that call, just feeling like that was really, really good. And then the further we dug into it, you know, I just felt like it was a great fit. And part of it is, I think, because I have been here a long time, you see who has succeeded maybe at times and who hasn't in different personalities. And I think our fans really like authenticity. They like someone who's just going to work hard and do things the right way and have a plan and kind of keep it simple. And Darren's kind of that way, just like Sig and Terry Moore and Todd Yeagley and all those other coaches.
I think something that stood out specifically with Coach DeVries was when they went on their foreign trip this summer, and he went through and shook hands with all of the fans that flew overseas to watch them play, and shook hands with every single one. And I thought that just spoke volumes about himself, and just him as a coach, and appreciating, you know, all the IU fans that flew across the country to go see this
really
team
good
play.
Point. Well, I'll tell you a quick other story about that trip that's super interesting is during, I think, the first phone call I had with him, he said he likes to make certain he can set example for the team. He's building a team, and he's building character. And he said one of the things that's important is they see how I work. You know, I've got to reflect how I want them to be. And he said, for example, you know, I think it's important I carry bags on trips. I'll get them off the plane and put them on the bus, or I'm always the last person to eat because I want them to see you're part of something bigger. It's not about you. And so fast forward, I go to Puerto Rico. They'd already been there for 3 days. I went there for the last 2 games, and I was talking to a couple of our staff members who'd been there the whole time. I said, how's it going? You know, because just what's it like? Because you've been around. And they said, you know what? he helps carry the bags off the, and they say, you know what else? He like waits to eat. So everybody's done it. And I go, that's funny. He
wasn't just talking.
He didn't just say that during his interview, but it was the thing. They noticed that right away. And I thought that was super cool. And I think they earns that trust and respect from people who are around them.
Man, that'll fire you up right there. That'll make you want to play for a coach too. That's the thing. It's leading by example that really makes you passionate about playing for a coach.
I totally agree.
So you were a basketball manager at IU. You have followed this program and this team for decades. You know where it's been, right? And we can't sugarcoat what it's been the last decade, right? For the basketball program. The expectations, I think everybody would say, haven't totally been met. As somebody who's so passionate about the program and what they have done in their history, how does that kind of drive what this program is doing right now, knowing that you desperately want to get back to hanging one of those banners?
Absolutely. It's kind of what I said earlier. It's really about the process. And unfortunately, really, when you look at since Coach Knight left or when he was let go, we've just had a lot of startups and stops. And we've had some success along the way.
Right.
Not knocking any of the coaches we've had here. But again, when you look at consistent results, you need a consistent plan and that consistent blueprint, and you work it. And you look at Terry Moran right now in women's basketball, she really, right now, Sydney could tell you exactly what women's basketball is doing to prepare for the season. I guarantee you she knows exactly, not just because she's been there, just because we don't deviate. It's our plan, and the players adapt to the blueprint, and you recruit to that blueprint. And so for us to be consistent in any sport, but much less men's basketball, I've seen it, and I believe that we had to bring in a coach that was going to have a consistent blueprint to recruit to it, just to do all the things that our successful programs in the past have done. And I'm confident that Darren can do that. And that's what you want, is you want those consistent results.
That's amazing. I was grateful to play under Terry Moran for the last 3 years, but not just speaking of women's basketball, but women's sports in general at IU. It's exploded. Women's basketball all over the country, women's sports all over the country. You see volleyball selling out crowds now. What has been the change over the last even 5 years of women's sports?
Yeah, I think that no question that Terry Moran and what she did at women's basketball was like a rising tide lifts all boats in our department. There's no question. I believe that really ignited sort of all of our women's programs. And then when I took over as AD, one of the things that was important to me is that we really sort of used that. How can we sort of blow that up and put that on steroids? And one of the things we did is we created our Women's Excellence Initiative, and that was really to raise money for women's sports, but really more importantly, bring attention to our women's sports and to really be a rallying cry to provide really that support and that kind of jet fuel to get all of our women's programs going. And so I think that really, as success started happening around the department and other women's sports, it really then spread. And I think we've still just hit the kind of the start to what we can take it. And I'm super excited.
Where do you want it to go?
I want to have the top women's program. I want to have the top athletic program in the Big Ten about the country, but I want to see our women's programs just elevate and be where other women around the country look at our program, not just individual sports, but just how we develop young women. And you're a perfect example, to be successful beyond your sport and to really just elevate our women in any way we can. I think that really will help across the board for all of our sports. So it's super important to me.
I love that. Love talking women's sports.
Hey,
it's
I
like
do
my
too,
favorite thing. And just seeing the athletic department on the women's side, like you said, explode has just been amazing. Seeing volleyball sell out, going to softball games, seeing all of the fans there. It's just been really, really fun to see.
I'm glad. I feel the same way.
Have you ever met a more charismatic coach than the head of volleyball, our good friend Steve Ayre?
Steve
we had to give him a shout out.
Yeah, Steve's he's awesome. He's definitely, you talk about charisma. I mean, when he steps into a room, he lights it up. There's no question about it. Yeah, he's great.
Well, you know who else lights up a room? We want to go back to, it is the season of football, Curt Cignetti. So to end our podcast here today, we're going to have Scott Dolson rate Curt Cignetti's top 5 quotes, right?
Like this.
Because we know he's a soundbite machine. I mean, his quotes turn into T-shirts.
They do.
It's insane, right?
do.
I have
They do.
one.
You have one.
Yep.
Which one?
Google me.
Google me.
Oh, you have that one? And I will say this before you start. This is so funny because Minette Cignetti, his wife, is so awesome. His family, and then talking to Minette, he's just people don't. He's not like that. Like it just comes out. You know what I mean? He's really just sort of just likes to coach and be with his family. He's not a big talker. But he's kind of just honest. And so whatever I think comes to his mind, it just comes out.
But the thing is, he backed it up.
Oh, he does.
I know. That
I'm
was.
telling you, Scott,
it was
I'm
great.
sitting there watching him pump up a crowd at an IU basketball game, and he's saying, Google me, I win. And I'm like, Curt, listen, we have had our heart broken by the IU football program so many times. Come on. Like, that just is team talk.
He did it.
Showed me.
He did it.
I was like, wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to read off 5 of them, and I want you to rank them. Number 1, we've all heard this one, and this isn't rated by me. This is just shorter.
Sure.
Google me, I win. During a press conference on National Signing Day, he gave that quote, and now it's a T-shirt. It's literally like the vision of his program.
They're still
right?
the best is now. Last year they talked about a preseason on TV. I was watching the game from home in Chicago, and they brought it up again on television. And now the best is now they're showing them their record last year. Like, oh, he said this, but now he proved it.
He did it.
And now I love it.
That's a good one.
That's one of them. Okay. Another one is, this is a less commonly known one, but he was asked to define success at Big Ten Media Day. And he just looked at him and goes, I want to be the best. You don't bring your kids up, Johnny, saying, I want to be 4th best. I want you to be 10th best. He said, bullshit. We want to be the best. That was another quote by him.
I like that.
Right?
I like that
That's
one.
very Curt.
That's a good one.
What I referenced at the IU basketball game, he gets up in front of the crowd and he goes, I've never taken a backseat to anybody and I don't plan on starting now. And then he led the crowd in chants, Purdue sucks, but so does Michigan and Ohio State. Okay?
He did
That's
that.
the 3rd one. The 4th one, maybe less commonly known, but it's a good one. When asked about recruiting and, how he looks at the recruits, he said, I've never looked at stars ever. He said, in this particular case of evaluation, I guess these stars have been around for a long time. I've never looked at a star. Do you really think that some guy that puts stars on kids knows what he's talking about compared to coaches who are watching hours and hours of tape on kids? No.
It's a good one. That's a good one.
It's a good one. The last one, and this one, some people are probably like, what? But he started a chant that no one's ever heard before. At Northwestern, he walks up to the fan base and he just starts going, "Go IU, go IU!" We're all like,
"Go IU, go IU!"
He's doing it so fast.
Everyone started doing it.
No one's ever heard that chant in the history of the university, and now it's caught on.
He did. He got that going. That was good. That was good.
He can do it.
He can do it.
Won, right? Okay. Those are the 5 quotes. Give me your top one. If you need
My favorite one would probably be the Google Me I Win, because the reason why I like that so much is the whole context of it. He was just he kept getting asked the same question. Like he felt like they were saying, "Why did you come to Indiana? Right. You can't. Yeah. Can you win there? Do you realize what you're up against?" And he said he was just getting so fatigued, and he hadn't slept because basically his first month on the job, he was at the office till 2 a.m. and getting up and getting in there at 5. I mean, he wrecked his car. Like, I shouldn't laugh, but he like went up a curb and like knocked the hubcap off because he fell asleep coming. He literally should have just slept in the office, but he was tired. So he was in that press conference, and when they kept doing it,
he was fed up.
He's just like, "Look, Google me, I win. Okay, that's what I." And so
they never asked him that question again.
And he's just so authentic. That's the thing, and that's back to the thing about Sig, number one, he's a great person. I mean, he's a really empathetic, caring, really good person. Great dad, great husband. He's just, and I'm not trying to make him out to be perfect. No, he's perfect, but he's a good guy. He really is. And then on top of that, he's just totally authentic. And he believes, he learned a ton from his dad. He learned from Nick Saban and all the people he's been around. And he believes that he believes if you do what you're supposed to do, and you work how we're supposed to work, that we're going to win. And I think the players believe that. I believe it. And so we all want to work as hard as we can to make it happen.
And they did.
I think everybody's starting to believe it.
I'm like, I've never seen this in Bloomington, and I've lived here since I was 8, basically. All right, your second choice about the top 5 quotes. The success quote about you don't bring your kids up, Johnny, to be fourth best.
Yeah.
Or the I've never taken a backseat to anybody, and I don't plan on now. Michigan sucks. Ohio State sucks. Purdue sucks. The recruiting one or go IU? Which one's number 2?
Yeah, I do like I never take a back seat to anybody, but I don't, I take away he said to me afterwards, he said, I probably got a little carried away, in that.
I was there. I was like this.
He got a little, that part, I guarantee you,
that's true.
he probably, because he does, he's got a lot of respect for all of our opponents, of course, but definitely I like I've never taken a backseat to anybody because that just showed right away. And then he said, I had to see if our fans were dead or they just didn't care right now, or they were asleep. I had to wake them up. And so he said, I realized real quick that I just had to wake them up. So that's what he did. When he said that, I thought that was pretty cool.
All right, where are you putting the random go IU chant that no one had ever heard before?
Yeah, that was good as well because I was right there with him, and you could tell he was just so fired up that we won that game. It was a tough game, even Northwestern at that stadium was tough, and it was so funny when he did it. It just happened so fast, and it just came out. It was just funny.
What? I've never, because you've been around forever. You've never heard that.
It was great, and like I remember walking off the field at UCLA. Winning that game, and he went over to the crowd, and he didn't do that exactly, but he genuinely appreciates the experience that the fans are having the opportunity to be involved in, so he loves it.
That is so good. All right, what about the I've never looked at stars when recruiting?
Yeah, that was another kind of, at the press conference, he was ready for that to end, and we get tired of answering those questions, and it's like, I'm just gonna be honest with you, he says some funny stuff. He's just the way he is. I was in his office this summer, and it was on a Friday, and it was late. Like, literally, the department was kind of emptied out, and it was late, and I saw he was in there. So I went to his office. I just go in, and like 95% of the time I go to his office, he's watching film. So he's in there, and I'm like, what are you doing? And it's just literally in like June, Friday late, beautiful day out. He's in there watching film, and he goes, I'm watching Red Zone plays. He said, I got like 900 that I'm working on, categorizing all these red zone plays. I go, dang, that's crazy. That's a lot. And he goes, Scott, you do realize we were the number 1 team in red zone efficiency this year, right? And I go, yeah. He goes, you think that just happens? You think we don't have to work on that? I go, no, I get it. I'm glad you're doing it. And that was great. It was so cool though. But he loves doing what he does. I mean, so he's funny though. He's just going to say how he feels, which you like, because you know where he's coming from.
Does he drink caffeine, or is he just naturally caffeinated?
I don't think he does drink a lot of caffeine. I don't think so. I think he's just naturally focused. I mean, but I'll tell you this, he treats his staff, and this was a big thing in recruiting him here too, is that he treats his staff really well. I don't think they put in although that first month was just crazy, but he's very respectful of, I've seen coaches that stay till 2 a.m. in the season and get up at 6, and I think he keeps them fresh. And then it was a big deal that his staff, he's had so much continuity with that, which was super important for us to have the consistency we want. So they like working for him.
They like working for him, and I bet they like working for you.
I hope so.
With you, Scott Dolson, we sincerely appreciate the time, all of the stories, and all of the insight. We love what you're doing at IU, and we appreciate it.
Well, appreciate you guys. I'm big fans of both of yours, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.